Bonjong ba ser che lembo daver ji be ge ja je jar ge ja la ge san sa Lord yen chan jen de lo na ro da mar ba la ji je gambo ba Hamo ju ba jar wa de gong be ka ju la ma nan lai so rwan de ro men ji je yen ho dan ne de zon zan je gen je ngo wo nye ran sen ji ge ngo zon don de be sa ve la ma nan lai so rwan de Good morning, everyone. So now we're going to the way of Bodhisattva. In the Wisdom chapter. So the verses, I think, is 149. It's correct, yeah? 149. No any answer? Yes, right?
I don't think I
Yes.
Okay.
We stopped at 148. I think we're starting at 149.
Okay.
But maybe Michelle knows.
Yeah. Okay, so then go to 149. So yesterday we share the, 139 to actually all the way to is 148. That section is a very important section for Mayamika. It's a view. Also here 148, 49 also continue, just the same follow the yesterday. It's talking about emptiness subject. It's actually free from all the views. The Mayamika main point is not going to accept any exist in non-exist. So 149, in this way, there is no cessation or production of truly existent things. So in this way, yeah, there is no cessation or production of truly existing things. So there use the, investigate logically proving. So nothing is you can find anything truly existent things. Therefore, all beings never have a truly existing birth, nor a truly existing cessation. So usually we talk about, say, Four Noble Truths: suffering of truth, truth of suffering, truth of origination, truth of cessation, truth of the path. So actually, these four of them also not exist. Cessation also not exist. They are pacified of true existing from the very beginning and by nature, and they stay beyond sorrow in a state devoid of true existing. So nothing is like cessation. That's the reason nothing is exist. All sentient beings, all the things are, nothing is born, nothing is a ceased. It is like, pacified. They are pacified of true existence from very beginning. So the main point is the all sentient beings never born, never die, and is unbeginningless emptiness. In this section, it's go more detail about logic. Is see, Mayaminka didn't create emptiness. So the emptiness means like unbeginningless time, nothing is truly exist. So they're just sharing that truth. That's the reason is 150. Although sentient beings appear, they are not truly existing, just like a dream. So we see all sentient beings appear to us. The sentient beings actually not truly existing. It's the same as dreaming. In the dream, so you can see big city, many thousands of people. But when you wake up, where they are come from, where they are abide, where they goes, no come from, no abide, no any goes place. It's all is emptiness. Nothing is exist. So like that, you know. These sentient beings are all is the same as dreaming. Nothing is exist. And since they are found to have no essence upon analysis, so you use, you know, logic, examine and analyze. They are also like a planting tree. So everything is the same as a planting tree. Planting tree is take all the skins. Then you cannot have any essence in there. So the tree just takes skins, then it go away. Nothing is existed there. Like that. When you analyze, then all this phenomena is not exist, or it's just emptiness. Like same is the reflection in, you know, moon's reflection in the water, like that, you know, it's no truly exist anything there. Therefore, indeed, there being empty of true existing, there is no difference between the state beyond sorrow, nirvana, and the state not beyond sorrow, cyclic existence. So, truly, absolute truly, you know, therefore, in the beginning, empty of truly existing means, and we usually talk about we are Buddha and beginningless time, right? So that means we are not truly exist and beginningless time. So this is a wisdom chapter is talking about wisdom emptiness of wisdom. So not talking about we are Buddha or not Buddha. Here is the main point is talking about not exist. So some other teachings usually we talk about, you know, we are Buddha and beginningless time. So Buddha is always being with us. So that main point is and beginningless time, we are not exist. So that is the Buddha nature. Buddha nature is not permanent, inherently exist. It's Buddha nature itself is emptiness. So unbeginningless time already it is emptiness. Therefore, in the being empty of true existing, there is no difference between the state beyond sorrow, nirvana, and the state not beyond sorrow, cyclic existence. And then usually we talk about, you know, samsara and the nirvana. So for our perception, we have separate. Samsara is a suffering, nirvana is beyond the sorrow, suffering. It's free from suffering. But realitily, samsara is nirvana, nirvana is samsara. It's not separate. Samsara is not exist, nirvana also not exist. That not exist unbeginningless time. It's samsara, nirvana, both are same thing, nothing difference, no difference. So that's the reason, see, all sentient beings is Buddha, means like samsara is samsara is nirvana, nirvana is samsara, samsara nirvana is inseparable, not different. So temporarily, yes, samsara nirvana is separate. We are ordinary being, and Buddha is enlightened being is separate. But in follow this way, reality, all beings Buddha. Samsara is nirvana. Nirvana is samsara is inseparable, not different. So that's why it's also the Nagarjuna, he said, nirvana's nature is emptiness. So samsara nature also emptiness. That means samsara nirvana is not separate. Long as we realize emptiness, then samsara nirvana is not separate. So that is the, we have to recognize, all sentient beings it's no exist. It's unbeginningless time. So no exist, that is all beings Buddha. Then right now, this effort to samsara for us, this is truly not exist. That is nirvana. So nirvana is not separate from this samsara. Then result of wisdom. So this is a result of wisdom means like you study in this wisdom chapter, so that benefit and the result is. So first is like when you realize absolute truth or you understanding this wisdom chapter, then you are free from like your how to say this is like it's we don't think about I wanting something, like I wanted to become famous, I want to be special, and so usually we thinking about so I is become perfect, other is not. So that view is become change. It's like you have economic perception is arising. So economic perception means you seeing other beings and our is equal, no difference. So same is like whatever we care about our own self, same like we care about all other sentient beings. So that kind quality is arise due to the wisdom. What is there to gain and what is there to lose? So you really know absolute truth, then what are you going to gain means what are you going to get? What are you going to gain, like power, famous, whatever, like we wanting something in the worldly benefit, the gain, and what is there to lose? What is like we don't want to lose all this worldly power and benefit things. So long as we have that, we have desire, we have hatred, and we have emotions. If you're understanding absolute truth, emptiness, then you are free from this kind of perception or thought, and free from this kind of expectation. So nothing with the things that are empty, see, everything is emptiness, then what is you going to gain? What is you going to lose? You're not going to gain anything. You're not going to lose anything. So you realize that, then your mind is become free from desire, free from attachment, anger, aversion. So of true existence, in this way, who is there to pay me respect? And who is there to abuse me? So who going to like respect and who going to offering, who going to press and treat it really great? Who going to do the happening? It's no exist. You don't have that expectation. You are free from that expectation. It's there to be abuse. Who is going to harm you? No one going to harm you. Nothing is exist. So who you are no exist. Other beings no exist. Who going to harm you? The action also no exist. Long as you know emptiness, then you are free from these expectations, and also you are free from hatred. So the main point is we are free from emotion. Because reason is all is emptiness. Nothing we're going to gain, nothing going to lose. It's nothing is going to, there is respect you, no one going to abuse you because no one is exist. All is emptiness. So think about it, in the dream, so you have expectations, like maybe you wanted to gain something in there and you have fears like going to losing your power, and you have desire someone going to respect you, or you have hatred someone going to abuse you. So when you wake up, all this dualistic thoughts is no exist. Object is no existed. So like that, long as you realize emptiness, then this all our expectation, desire is gone. So mind is free from the desires. Then we go to 152. From what are pleasure and pain derived? So then, long as you realize emptiness, there is no exist pleasure, there is no exist pain also, suffering also no exist. That's the reason, what is there to be happy? Why is you try to be happy or unhappy about? So you are free from happy and free from unhappy feelings. So long as you have realized emptiness, wisdom, so you are free from emotions. The main point is that the emotion feeling cannot control us. So think about, I'm beginning last time, we are stuck in samsara means the emotion control us because we follow by feeling. So now you know this feeling is not exist, then you don't have expectation happy, you don't have unhappy with about pain and suffering. So your mind is free from that. When I search for the atomic nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? So you really investigate, analyze, meditate emptiness, so absolute truth, then you don't have desire. You see, who is there to crave? Who is there? We also know exist. Then who is desire? Who is wanting? Sometimes it's good to think this one, when you have strong desires, like going on something, so you look to yourself, who is wanting this? It's you realize, you see, recognize you are no exist. That's the reason you have to search for the atomic nature, means you have to analyze yourself. Then you see yourself is no exist, is free from your desire. You search yourself, then he treated the you if you have anger arising, you search yourself. You use yourself, analyze yourself. You are no exist. Then who is the anger? Anger to who? Subject is no exist. Object is no exist. Anger is not exist. So you have to meditate that, then you are free from anger. So that's why who is there to crave? And what is there to crave for? No object there. Because all is emptiness, nothing is you going to gain, nothing is you going to lose there. Then why we have this, so strong, we have something going to gain all these worldly things, so fixation to that. Why we have so strongly, fears to going to losing our, power or matter or whatever we have, like your body's quality or your anything, what your wanting something is going to losing. So you have that kind of strong fixations. Why we have that? Because it's due to delusion. Not enough meditate wisdom. That's why. So meditation wisdom is very weak. And delusion, fixation is very strong. So that's the reason we have that, but actually, truly, that is the not truth. We have like fixation is not true. Strong fixation is like when you analyze yourself, no exist. So that's why we have to meditate these sections. Search for the atomic nature. Who is the crave and what is there to crave for? So then, Upping analyzes this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. So you really look to ourselves, investigate ourselves, investigate your family, investigate all other sentient beings, investigate your job, your matter, everything is really not truly existing there. So that's the reason. Therefore, who can die here? Who is going to die? Is I and self is not exist. Why we have so much fear for die? So if you really realize emptiness, you are free from the fears for death. So we talk about laws, practice dharma. We have to practice dharma. We need, when we die, we have to free from fears from death. How you really get that? The practice, like realization, have to meditate this practice wisdom chapter. Long as you understanding this wisdom chapter, you are free from death, because no death is exist there. So therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what has been? Who has a birth? Who has abide living? Because no one has come from, no one has that what has been is like living. It's exist. So the main point is no birth, no abiding, living, no death. So long as you realize absolute true emptiness, so you are free from birth, suffering, you are free from old age suffering, you are free from sickness suffering, you are free from death suffering. Because they all is delusion, nothing is existed there. Who are friends, who are relatives? So then who's like our friends? Like we are attached to our friend is relatives. So then who are there, you know? Because no exist. Our service no exist. Then how can exist our friend in there? Friends also no exist. Relatives also no exist. That's a main point is, you know, so birth, death is no exist. So you recognize there are, you know, emptiness is free from that. Long as you have that, then also you know like your friend is no exist, your relative is also no exist. Okay, so that's all are same is dreaming. You know, it's delusion. Friends are same is delusion, dreaming. Our family is also same is like delusion and dreaming. They are not exist. Then we say this our friends, relatives exist. Yes, in the dream you can have friends, relatives. When you wake up, you don't have that, right? So same like that. When you realize emptiness, our friends, families, relatives, they are not truly exist. Then they are all it's the same. It's dreaming. Then you don't have attached to fixation to your friend and relatives, no hatred to the other sentient beings. So you are free from desire and free from hatred. Or you who are investigating reality, please recognize as I have done that all is just like space. So we have to recognize everything is the same is space. It means emptiness. So you can think about when you was born to internal, what you done. Please show me. You cannot show anything. The what we already passed, or is the same is dreaming. So we don't have to think about the like when you go to sleep and the dream, you know, when you're born and internal, all is the same as you're dreaming. So in the past, you know, when you was born internal, every day you have relatives, friends attached to that, and you have all this, you know, going on the samsaric situations all the time. So important. Everything is so important one by one. And until you go sleep, morning to evening is everything is important, right? Everything is important. So then when you go sleep, all is gone. Next day, everything is important again. So then think about already past ones, or is the same as dreaming. So you really can think about some past things. Oh, that time I don't really do that. It's better I don't to fixation, that kind of situation. You know, like you can think about that way. Or that time I let go that one, that situation I didn't let go. It's nothing. I don't benefit. They don't benefit. We recognize harming each other, you know, right? We recognize that. So no, you go back, you know, think about back to that kind of situations. Like we don't get benefit. They also don't get benefit. Actually harming each other, or it's the same as dreaming. So you can think about all the past, these countries, the kingdoms fighting each other. Who's gain benefit? Who's get lost? It's no one get anything, no one lost anything, or it's emptiness. Because they are no exist, no one is exist. So you think that way, then helps us, in this present situation, you can change. So not so that strong fixation to that. So that means like you have to think about again, analyze yourself. If analyze, we don't analyze ourselves, we don't using analytical meditation. But even we have already been these teachings, meditate, practicing. But when you get in the situation, you just forget everything. You didn't let go again. So that helps for analytical meditation. Just like space. There, those who wish to be happy, they're greatly disturbed by causes for conflict, and overjoyed by the cause for pleasure. See, this we recognize, these sentient beings. Actually, we really want happiness. So that's why we create causes of suffering due to our ignorance. So when we wanting happy and joy, so what we do, sentient beings, they create suffering, right? See, this all the countries, all the previous like kingdoms, all the human histories create all its causes of suffering. So actually, they really wanting desire is happiness. No one get happiness. They who want happiness, they always create causes of suffering. So that's why here Shantideva said, whose wish to be happy, they greatly disturbed by causes for conflict, create causes of conflict. So then what did they do? Overjoyed by the cause for pleasure, but not finding happiness, they suffer. Why they are suffering? And in order to find in their exert themselves, they argue with others. So it's going to fighting, argue with others, cut and stop one another. See, then fighting, killing each other. That's it. So finally, they lose each other. No one is get benefit. Thus, this all same. See, all wars and all the who has strong fixation, like kind of a desire, power. These beings create the causes of suffering themselves and the causes of suffering others. So themselves they are guided with others, cut and stop one another with many evil deeds. They live in a state of great hardship. So then the whole life is they create negative things. They're so strong desire happiness, but due to their emotion, create suffering themselves. They create suffering for others. The whole life is miserable, no any happy and joy there. So that is it's like desire. So really wanting happiness, that's create suffering. Great hardship. Then, even though they presently come to happy existence and experience much pleasure there, upon dying they fall for a long time into the unbearable sufferings of lower realms. So now Shantideva, he going to talk about this section is like we who study way of Bodhisattva, who practice way of Bodhisattva, is wisdom chapter, the must his compassion for other beings. So main point is like long as you study this way of Bodhisattva, especially this wisdom chapter, really arise compassion for other beings. How to arise compassion for other beings? So see, already talked here, these beings wanting happiness, but they create causes of suffering themselves and for others. And whole life is followed by its negative deeds. That's the reason so here these beings, you see, even though they repeatedly come to happy existence, sometimes these sentient beings going to reborn to the human body, human realms existence, and experience much pleasure there. So in the human realms, due to some karma, they get good pleasure, happiness, or the temporary things. Here, pleasure there. Upon dying, so then when they die, they fall for a long time into the unbearable suffering of lower realms. They're going to follow, stuck in the lower realms, many, many lifetimes of suffering. See, this main point is, due to these sentient beings, emotion, ignorance, never ever free from suffering. So all the time, like cyclic existing in samsara. So that's why never end suffering. Then 157, within condition, existence, the chasmas or chems or chems, I think.
Chasm.
Chasm. I say chasm of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of autonomic truth is absent. Why we cannot liberate? See, all in the samsara situation, so much causes conditions, suffering, causes conditions, create suffering. Yeah, so that reason, always easily falling to the lower realms. Whatever we do, all condition is causes of suffering. And then, and the liberating comprehension of autonomic truth is absent. Wisdom, emptiness, teaching is absent. So these all beings, no one going to hear wisdom, emptiness. So without wisdom, emptiness, teaching, no possible truth free from samsara. Due to some good karma, they come to the higher realms, but go back to again lower realms. So then cyclic existing in samsara never end. So all the cause condition is so strong in samsara. You know, suffering, cause condition is always there. So nirvana, free from samsara, enlightenment condition is absence. It's true, it's absence. Absent, no exist there. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict one another. So our perception mind, so think about it, we have so strong fixation exist, okay, and the desire, right, that is the causes of suffering. And another hand, recognize emptiness. This recognize emptiness and truth existing perception is contradict each other. But in samsara, we don't have realized like emptiness teachings. We don't have the emptiness wisdom teachings. So it's absent. That's why see it's here is see true existing and understanding that is so strong. That is the causes of samsara. And main point is nirvana causes absent. Samsara cause is so strong there. So samsara cause, nirvana cause, these two causes is contradict each other. Because true existence, the causes of samsara, emptiness, wisdom, emptiness is causes of nirvana. These two causes cannot be together. So we have to think about all these samsaric beings, all these worldly people, which is strong for them. They all have a condition is existing, true existing conditions we have. We don't have wisdom, emptiness conditions. That's why mutually contradict one another. But if while in condition existence, I did not realize this atomic truth. See, we don't have atomic truth conditions. So all these samsaric beings has the truth existing conditions. So that's why these beings go to in samsara. How many people can go to liberate? So you can see this causes first. How many people can really liberate in samsara? How many people go to samsara, go back to again in samsara? Very, very few go to liberate. So think about here, how many people study this wisdom chapter in the whole this world? First wisdom teaching is sharing is like very few in the world. You can count maybe 1 year wisdom chapter going to teaching sharing, 100, maybe no more than that. So whole content, everybody sharing the wisdom chapter is like maybe 100 only number, So then how many beings connect with that? Is very few. So we think about is in our zone, how many people can come to listening, like beginning to end? It's very few. Like so of course, like comes goes is maybe 60 and 70s between, more or less than 100, but really have all this teaching one by one, everything maybe 10 or 20 between. So that's why see the nirvana conditions not much. Samsara conditions very strong. While in condition existing, I do not realize this atomic true, wisdom emptiness. So I share, continue to experience a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have later strength for virtue. So, okay, so here is I share continue to experience. Like Shantideva say, I'm going to share more his experience. a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. So it's samsara's suffering, you know, it's like birth, old age, sickness, and death. All these kind of human beings are suffering, and then lower realm animals suffering each other, and always fear, and then hungry ghosts is all the time, hunger and thirsty extremely, and the lower realm, the higher realms beings like heat and cold. So that kind, you know, is the samsara's suffering is limitless ocean of misery. So unbelievable and beyond analogy. So we cannot think about it, you know, cannot compare anything. So that kind of suffering in samsara. So likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have later strength for virtue. So then other hand, see, so likewise through not having realized emptiness, see, it's like going to create a virtuous deed, you know, causes of happiness. That kind of opportunity is limited. It's also not strength, not enough. It's negative is have more strength. You know, the positive have little strength for virtue. You know, like you when you're going to create virtue as a deed, have not enough strength. And no virtuous is very strong strength. So it's very powerful. Easily you get convictions. And then also when you wanted to create virtuous deed, the same is the daytime star. In the daytime, you cannot see the stars in the sky. Not easy to find the star in the sky, yeah. And the nighttime is millions of stars is in the sky. So that is like same is the easy to create the negativity. And who create the negative is like that. Millions of beings. Who going to create virtuous deeds, positive karma is the same as the daytime star is maybe one, maybe you can see one or two, very few. So that's the reason, and hard to connect with Dharma, and also go hard to really into the practicing Dharma. Even you go into the virtuous deeds, but its life is very short, you know, not too long to with life. So that kind of, you know, all the negative conditions very strong, and positivity through not having realized emptiness, I have a little strength for virtue. Very few, very small conditions have connect to the virtuous deeds. So then you can see all these samsaric beings, what they're doing. And my human life, obviously, leisure and adornment is indeed very short. So this section we already talked is how hard to get precious human body, right? Not easy to get precious human body. It's then also long as you get precious human body, life is very short, not too long. Also, striving hard to live long, live or life.
Live long.
Okay, live long and avoid illness. So in the, you know, when we get in the human being's body, then what we're doing is so try to all focus for, you know, living long. 100% we focus for that. And avoid illness, you know. So that's two things all the time. All our life is for that. Living long and with no, avoid illness. These two things. That's the reason all our life is for that. I am concerned with the hunger and rest and sleep. I'm injured by others and kept meaningless company with the childish. So then we get in the human being's life, but all is what we do is we just concern with the always thinking about I'm going to get hunger and going to get cold, heat, and only thinking about our own protection. So then that's the reason we just thinking about a job or everything so important. All this become fixation was very strong because it's a focus for living long and avoid illness. Then just whole day is walking and coming back and go sleep and then go back to again walk and come back to sleep. That is just life. Then some reasons sometimes like so we get sometimes like obstacles and injured by others, so then just other beings harm for us and so get just hurt, that kind of like obstacles and kept meaningless company with the childish all the time. Then kept meaningless childish with other some sara childish people, means who don't thinking about the future life, who don't have wisdom, only thinking about the focus, so strong fixation into this benefit on our own this life. So the whole life is just going to follow like that way, then it's finished, gone. So then what we get, nothing get. All we get is negative karma create and then go to the lower realms again. So 160, therefore this life civilly passed with no meaning. See, and it is very hard to find the chance to investigate reality. So that's where life is gone. So then main point is here. So our life is civilly passed with no meaning. It is very hard to find a chance to investigate in reality. It's like this kind of a teaching, wisdom teaching. So wisdom teaching analyze, recognize, understanding self is not exist. Recognize selflessness of emptiness, selflessness of a person, selflessness of phenomena. So that kind of hard to find a chance to investigate reality. So main point is very hard to get to connect with the teaching. In this state, in this kind of, like wisdom chapter teaching, where is there the means to reverse this beginningless habit of grasping at true existence? So then we have so strong habituate already. The habitual is the beginningless, habit of grasping is true existing. So that kind is very hard to where is there the means to reverse? Hard to reverse this strong fixation grasping habituate. Very hard to reverse, means like change to that view or habituate is hard to change. So that's why we also talking about sharing this emptiness teaching, But always our minds go back to this true existing, because due to our habituate grasping. So we don't want to hear, oh, I am not exist. Due to our grasping, we say, pleasure, happiness is not exist. People don't want to hear that. Okay. We say, okay, friends, your relative, families not exist. They don't want to hear that. We say they are impermanent. They don't want to hear that. That's all is due to this habit of grasping. This habit of grasping is like, I'm beginningless time. That's why it's so strong. And not easy to reverse that. Because only reverse like that kind of habituate is emptiness teaching. So no any other than that. That's why Shantideva also said here, hard to get this kind of teaching. See, so, and it's very hard to find the chance to investigate in reality. This teaching. This investigating reality, wisdom of emptiness is antidote to habit of grasping of true existing. Without this teaching, not possible to any antidote to this, habit of grasping truth existence. So wisdom, emptiness is the same as the sun. So this, habit of grasping at true existence is the same as the darkness. Sun is only antidote to the darkness. So same like that, only wisdom, emptiness teaching is antidote to grasping at truth existence. So wisdom, emptiness get rid of all this grasping at true existing. So we have another antidote practicing. Other or antidote practice is the same as the legs. Same is your torch, is butter lamp, same is the candle lamp. You cannot light up everything. So main point is you practice a law of compassion that is helps reduce this habit of grasping, fixation, but cannot removed. The reason is they are not directly contradict each other. Only, investigating reality, wisdom, emptiness is antidote, contradict to habit of grasping at true existence. So wisdom, emptiness meditation only can get rid of this grasping. Furthermore, divides are exerting themselves to cast us into vast unfortunate realms. They show us many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. So even we, get into sometimes higher realms, but during that time, so we create always causes of suffering, create causes of like lower realms. Furthermore, divers are exerting themselves, like comes like we are reborn into the higher realms. So during that time, to cast us into less fortunate realms, we always create causes of lower realms. So that is all this worldly beings. You can see it's truth, right? So we can look toward this human beings one by one, every individual, the create causes of lower realms. Actually, they are in the human realm, higher realms. So sometimes like we get in the higher realms, see, create the causes of lower realms. They show us many mistaken paths. So then, and on that during this, lifetime, they show us many mistaken paths. You see, some people want to have a spiritual, but they go to wrong religions. So wrong religion means like really harming for each other, harm for others, and no follow the cause and the effect. That kind of mistaken paths, take mistaken paths, show us many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve, drop about the perfect way. So hard to to resolve, drop about the perfect way means long as they get in the wrong path, they don't recognize that is a wrong way and the wrong path. They think that is perfect, that is correct. Then they have the courage or pride, because due to the karma and also due to ignorance. So we know that it's many people is go to get wrong religions, wrong views, and then they think that is correct, perfect, but actually they create causes of suffering, harming for other beings. So that kind of, if long as that kind of you stuck that view, it's very hard to get rid of that view, and it's hard to resolve drops about the perfect way. Then hard to accept other perfect religion too. So if long as you get stuck with another religion, hard to accept other ones who no same conduct, no same view, they're not going to accept. They don't accept that my conduct, my view is wrong. It will be hard to find the leisure of a human life again. Then go to lower realms again. Very hard to come back again. Human life, human beings' life again. So, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. Then very hard to find the Buddhas. Even you get in the human being's body, but Buddha's Bodhisattva is there, but you don't recognize. Because we know many of these sentient beings, especially talking about these human beings, they're who looking for Buddhas, who looking for Bodhisattvas. Very, very few. Everyone looking to the this the samsara, daily activity. They create samsara. That's it. Everyone looking for that benefits. No one looking for Buddhas, and that's why hard to connect with the Buddha, presence of Buddhas. So if they don't have a karma and they don't looking for that way, it's even Buddha is that they're not possible to recognize. So no can benefit anything, no connections. It is harder to forsake this flood of disturbing conceptions. Then that's why it's if you don't have even harder to human body's life, if you get a human being's life, but hard to connect with the teachers and the Bodhisattva and the teachings. So if you don't have the connections, then hard to forsake this flood of disturbing conceptions. Not possible get rid of our emotion. Emotions is the same as the river following, continually, unstopped. How can stop that? Not possible to stop that. So then, Alasa, Shantideva says, Alasa, all these beings is seeing, so comes very strong compassion for others. Shantideva is Alasa. Sentient beings will continue to suffer. So he really recognized like not easy to sentient beings free from samsara. So this all you can recognize. You see, understand what going on there. So that's why he said it's hard. These beings like free from samsara. Continue suffer. So then, oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those adrift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the sufferings they go through. The Shantideva this telling for us, you know, or this samsara, our sentient beings. See, or indeed, you know, indeed means like, so already he talked to Shantideva, like that kind of, you know, sentient beings suffering. Then it is worth feeling sorrow for those adrift in this river of pain, because due to our, you know, mind suffering and physically suffering, mentally suffering and physically suffering all the time, you know, mentally suffering, physically suffering, and worth feeling sorrow for all the time. So then, due to our ignorance, you know, we don't recognize our own suffering. For this, those adrift in this river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. So we have so strong our ignorance, we never learn. You know, we get suffering, but we don't want that suffering, but still go same direction again, create that causes again, because due to our ignorance. So see, the human beings go through so much suffering, all the histories. Still, the doesn't matter who has this worldly education or education, everyone just goes same direction again. No learning again. You know, otherwise, like see so many books already there, so many history things, human beings. So we knows, okay, this is no great. But who has power? That has desire. That person has emotion. Then they go again, always go through same thing again. Then who doing that? They don't recognize. They blamed, telling for others that did mistakes. But actually, or who doing that? That person never recognize what he doing. He only recognize others did problems, but who doing the problem, creating problem, that person he don't recognize, he or she, you know, not recognize. So that's why Shantideva here says, are unaware of the suffering they go through, no recognizing. So the same is like this. For example, some ascetics wish themselves again and again, and others repeatedly interferes, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they pride themselves in being content. So someone has a mental problem, you know, is wanted to happy. So it's like this thing is, oh, I get the heart. They go to the cord, you know, so that is frozen again. they come back to again, so go into the fire again, so then go back to the frozen again. So that kind of human beings does. So Shantideva said, for example, the some exert wish themselves again and again, and other repeatedly enter fires, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they pride themselves in being content. So still there's no learning, no understanding. Due to their desire, the main point is someone has like so strong desire, and they want to hold on, and due to that, they're like too hard. They wanted to get a core, let it be calm down, cool down, but then they go into the frozen again. So suffering too much, too cold, and then they come back again. Go into the fire. It's too heat, and go back to in the frozen again. So like that kind of ignoring people doing, because due to the desire. So going to extremes, main point is we doing things too extreme. We have a desire, okay, desire, you can have a balance, you can, what you want, something you need, you get that is okay, but so strong desire, and you so much suffering there, and try to gain that material object or power, anything, so strong desire, you stuck there, so much suffering. So then another hand, go to so much poverty. It's always like this, go back and forth. They don't know how to stay balanced. Main point is. So here also this samsaric beings, sometimes we have the suffering of suffering. Sometimes we have, it's a pervasive of suffering and change of suffering. Or this go back and forth, these sufferings. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though there were no aging or death are first of all cured by the Lord of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of feeling into lower realms. So this sentient beings is similar to those who mistake and so strong desire. That's what they create suffering. They're suffering for joy. So and living as though, so there, the gadan chemeba yin the jube nenala. How to say this one is going to the corresponding society and yon doing charging simpe. I see. We think about ourselves similar those who mistake their suffering for joy. So and we think we always going to live long, as though there were no aging or death. We never were ever, understand and recognize we are going to old age, we're going to get sick, we're going to die. So we don't think about that. We don't think about that, then we are so strong fixation on the, this worldly things, strong attached to that. So actually, who has that kind, so strong fixation, and then the first of all cured by the Lord of Death. This death Mara is arise to that person. It can be die. Lord of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. So that's also like very similar already share up there. Main point is here is just people know a word, no recognize understanding. We have going to old age, we no recognize we're going to get sick, we not thinking about to die. So fixation in this world, but they no some reasons no time to actually old age and going to like stay longer, but death mara arise is dies, suddenly die. So then due to the karma is going to falling into the lower realms. So that's the reason you look to these beings, recognize what these beings due to ignorance doing, because due to desire attachment, and you really arise compassion for these beings, other beings. So now when shall I be able to extinguish the pain of those tormented by the fire of suffering with the rain of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the claws of my merit. So the Shantideva already he talked up there. This, when shall I be able to extinguish, the pain of those tormented by the fear of suffering. These sentient beings, so pervasive of suffering and suffering of suffering, also change of suffering. This three different kind of suffering all the time. These sentient beings stuck with these three kind of different sufferings all the time. So then Bodhisattvas, so Bodhisattvas, like the aspiration, Bodhisattvas accumulation merit with the rank of my accumulated happiness means like example Shantideva, his teaching for way of Bodhisattva, and so other like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas create accumulation merit, and that kind of benefit is the with the rank of my accumulated happiness. All sentient beings stuck in the suffering, same as in stuck, same as in the fire, heat. So this Bodhisattva's aspiration, accumulation, merit is the same as the rain. With the rain of my accumulated, so that brings some happiness for other beings. So sometimes like that benefit for others. Accumulation happiness that does sprung from the cloud of my merit. See, he says also he's in this way of Bodhisattva's merit and other Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, accumulation merit, aspirations. When there comes like benefit for others, same as the rain coming. Rain comes, someone is in the fire, too much heat, suffering, is their gut become benefit. So that helps remove the suffering others. So that means like we are stuck in samsara, beginningless time eternal is all the time due to this three different kind of suffering. All the time we are stuck in there. So some reasons like Bodhisattva's aspiration and this kind of teaching we receiving and help us, we are free from suffering. So Shantideva's main point is this beings suffering in samsara due to their own karma and the suffering is three kind of different suffering all the time, unstopped or never stopped. But then sometimes like this, his teaching way of Bodhisattva, people who has connection, they receive this teaching, help them to free from suffering. So then also Shantideva says his wishing, his aspiration, this teaching benefit for them, like who is suffering, and this way of Bodhisattva helps them free from suffering. That is thus from the close of my merit. And by having in the manner of not referring to true existence, respectfully gather the accumulation of merit, when by referring to others, where I be able to revere emptiness to those who are reached and sad. So now you see, and by having in the manner of not referring to true existence. So when we, get in the right now human being's body, and we have this teaching and recognize not truly existing, everything's emptiness, not referring to true existing. We recognize that. So that helps create accumulation merit and accumulation of with wisdom merit, respectively gather the accumulation of merit. So then when by referring to others where I be able to revere emptiness. So then other beings, see, include us actually, or other sentient beings, due to our ignorance and fixation, so strong grasping and seeing everything is truly existing. Due to that, we have a so strong I and self, fixation to ourself and others object, because we don't have realized selflessness of a person, selflessness of phenomena. We don't have realized that due to our selfish, so strong fixation, they create all the time, causes of suffering. But in this way of Bodhisattva wisdom chapter, create accumulation merit, where I be able to revere emptiness, or is become recognized, free from these fixations, realize emptiness. So then also we realize this, we recognize ourselves, and we want to share for other beings. So that is able to revere emptiness to those who are rich and sad. I think so. Who is stuck in samsara? We wishing them, can share this teaching for others, benefit for others, and free from their suffering. So that is the kind of more dedication where, we wishing for others. So then that is the finish of all the wisdom chapter, and now is the last section is called the chapter's name is this section is called Way of Bodhisattva Wisdom chapter 9, and we finished the wisdom chapter. So now we're going into the dedication chapter. So dedication chapter. So this section has, also dedication has like summarize and just introduction, and then more detail and more detailed way to dedicating for other beings. So first is this one is like kind of a more introduction way dedication for others. Then when going into the more detailed level, so it's a dedication for ordinary beings. So there, wishing them are free from suffering, wishing they are enlightenment. Then also dedication like for other realizer beings, wishing what they have wishing is completion. So that kind of like many different sections in the dedication. Dedication section, I'm going to do the transmission, and then we're going to read together. So that usually dedication chapter is not really needed to share, because when you read, you understand it very easy. So just I do the transmission, and we're going to do dedication together, read together. First, I do the transmission. Mobile level Juba, Dagasan Jubala, Jubarnaba Samaye, Gavagan, Noagan, Sanju Jula, Jubarcho, Sonagan, Ledansan, Donganiba Jiniba, the Dagasonam, the Gajus Sotobarcho. The Dakoa is the Naya de Lanyamajo, Sanju Samaya, Deva Jimajo, Jilekan Yavada, Ganajini Yovana, the Legina, the Jindeva Gavajo, Novena Rojo, Sanju Sabati Jile. Somewhere Joana, Savana, Savarajo, Radalomana Zaya, the Laga, Saradu Gorojo, Yamamala, Domoyan, Bazakin, the Dobarjora. Tingering or Bada, Nabada, yes, Organian, Jimbe, the George, Pemeters, on Jedin Sodaga, Yavasadan, and Younger Shows, or Bon, the Arjimojo, Sas, six Sherages, I get our show, the Nero one on Jabaya, Yamaka, the Jacamajo, Dama, those in Sojabata, then is the Medo Javaja, Sojabatian, then is the Medo Memorio. Chora, me, Medon, Dana, Semada, Jagan, Jorgo, Medocan, Daka, give it to July, Little Lamo, Nanda, Ninja, Dajimon, Jisarandane, Shinje, Madan, Kadasagumazan, Abdasikan, Minsarade, Jibin, the Gosa, the Yamde, Jenna, Nagana, Sana, Jimba, Yondon, the Gave, Shoja, the Dana, the Lanin, Tobaco, Medo, Jarba, Vijatan, Baba Yanya, Meda, Jesuban, Don John, Lord, the Jesamba, then Simjin, Namja, Sana Pemontomara, Yoda, Niba, Laring, Baro, Surjo, then Yagan. No, again, Gave, Josen, Lando, Agan, you just on your Sabasa, Jorba, Yonder, Zerbajan, Barajiba, Mebrasiba, Jason. Chuja, Laja, Jubin, Jubimulan, Chuja, Tuja, Lajimala, Medo, the Mesoja, Jarba, Bagan, say, Yon, Lamadon, Doyan, Rodin, the Jayan, and Down, Nedan, Samjin, Jajon, Don Barjo. Edardaga, Gatakan, the Zanla, so Sanchez, Barba, Medeva, Sergeant, Young, and Japan, Benton, is in the Bagaja, and Ronam, Nature, Laja, Soja, the Rojan, Maman, Bemajan, the Yadan, the Java, watching his longest and about Yadanam Nesses, Yadanam Nesses, Agent is another so you one of his own dojo, but the Yellow the German, Miss our Georgia, and you got one is another command. Choda, don't watch him both over Yoruba, and Nordo Union, Daga, Dojo, Jenam, Jayisi, Deva, Bezon, over using the Vajivan, and the Jajon, and Maleva, and you want to Seba Namne, Jimmy, Jojimana, Nedo, John the Minam, the Dinges, and Nepensuni, Georgia, Robotan, Adam Jelasona, Deva, Jogan, Roseba, the Megan of Georgia, Giovanna, Yella, Samadu. Choyumus dance and Nina Linja Gavario, Nina Linja Gavario, Yangi, Lango Shabana, Roboda, and Regione, Jovenda, Jimeva, Mangadela, Dorio, Gonzola, Lamina, Avaziba, Gumbo, Mivani, Lonja, Lada, Soaziba, Yomada, Sitting Jazada, Juba, Mizon, the other Zera, Danger, Janaka, Zuyan, Lonja, Java, Mevorju, Soba, Minjas, Mevara, the Nature, and Jesus, Jonga, the Dazu, Java, Jingas, and Never, Georgia. Jadi pemijai pada daji banyak jaya maram nane todo jonga jada jaya warjo dane sonam daya ne sanji nam jaya maleva di batam jaya ban dada dada keva sebar yo sanjo sambam rojo sanjo jola yo wada sanji nam jaya yunzo yede jela na bawar sanji de datam jene se yamba miri wa yo dada dewan sojo jene jewe doyan rama jaba sa yenga jeme sa sanji dane sanji sa jene dobe kama ye sona tam jaya kama yo tam jaya daya sa jeda sa mala so me bada Semala so me bada lam de tanya me ya ran yin ja mo ne jo jing ko yu ge san ji sama ma mo da ran le be sa ne ji ba se be ju ju je ne jing ge sa da ne jin da so tam je na ga le ja ji ro ji ma je ba de ba da san je sa da jo je be de ne da ye be do la ma je ba yo la ye de ja me yo lo do be so ba yo je ba ji se jo ji de da ja da wa yo me na da de ba da sen ga de jo do ba yo ro si bo la so ni je sa na de jo je sem je ga ya do ma je de ba ma jo na ma jo ji da ni ba ma jo je ga ya yin me de ma jo so la ga na lo ba da ga do ji ne ne ga da ki ba Tade gene te ba gene to yan do ba yo la ba de ba ge long da ba da je do ba yo wa da je ba ne se na de ro ko je ge lo ma na ji de je na da no ba ko yo se trem jar wa ye song ne da de ba de yo de do da ne do yo ne de ya to yo ma nyang sho ke ba nam ne kru wa da song nam da ja ni ba yo yo no yo da ba so na ge da ba yo ne so na ma nyo ye ka ba je ba ba la ba la ba de da san je nyu ro yo sem je gen je le ma da san je tam je chu se je san je de wa sam ye sa de dan de jo je san je sam ba nam je ne do dong to la gong do yo go ba yin de ga go ba sem je nam da de yo yo de yin ran san je nam da yin de nam ja de jo ye da ja yang ga de je sa ra ga ba to ba da da sa ra de ma da ra de song wa to ba ro yo da ne ka se je ne je nyam da de yin so wa yo sa ra ge ne wi ne ba be so de ba to ba yo ga se da do ba je se do do yang go ba ye de ne ge ba do wa yo so yin na de do be se je ge do so je na je ba da je ba da yo da je se na ga ne ba da je do wa je se ne je ba ke se da ne jo ne do ba do ga sa wa yo do ba do ga jo de ge da la me jo je san je sa me ge ne do ba de la je ba yo do ba de la jo ba yo do ba do ga me je ba de wa tam yo ne de ba ni la ko da je de yo ne jo je ga ge de ge long je ma ni la sa da ga ge de da je ge we shi la da sa se san je sa je ba ba ngo wa shi we sa we le we de jo ba wa san je sa je ba so bu xing da de wen ze ba zo so okay, so now we go to the English. Okay, so Mary, can you read the English, please?
Okay, not the whole thing. Okay.
Dedication section.
Okay.
Yes.
Through the virtue of having composed this work, a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, may all living beings come to engage in the Bodhisattva's conduct. May all beings everywhere, plagued with sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. For as long as they remain in cyclic existence, may their mundane happiness never decline, and may all of them uninterruptedly receive waves of joy from bodhisattvas. May all embodied creatures who throughout the universe experience hellish realms come to enjoy the bliss of Sukhavati. May those feeble with cold find warmth. May those oppressed with heat be cooled by the boundless waters that pour forth from the great clouds of the Bodhisattva's merits. May the forest of razor-sharp leaves become a beautiful pleasure grove, and may the trees of knives and swords grow into wish-fulfilling trees. May the regions of hell become places of joy with vast and fragrant lotus pools beautified with exquisite calls of wild ducks, geese, and swans. May the heaps of burning coals change into heaps of jewels. May the burning ground become a polished crystal floor. And may the mountains of the crushing hells become celestial palaces of worship filled with sugatas. May the rains of lava, blazing hot stones, and weapons from now on become a rain of flowers. And may all battling with weapons from now on be a playful exchange of flowers. By the force of my virtues, may those caught in the fiery torrents of acid, their flesh eaten away, reveal their lily-white bones, obtain the bodies of celestials, and dwell with goddesses in gently flowing rivers. Why are the henchmen of Yamas, the unbearable buzzards and vultures afraid, through whose noble strength is joy brought upon us and darkness dispelled? Looking up, they behold the firmament and radiant forms of Vajrapani. Through the force of their joy, may they be free from evil and find his company. When they see the lava fires of hell extinguished by a rain of falling flowers mixed with scented water, immediately satisfied, they wonder whose work this was. In this way, may those in hell behold Padmapani. Friends, don't be afraid, but quickly gather here. What need is there to flee when above us is the youthful Manjo Gujoda to dispel our fears, the tender Bodhisattva who protects all living things, through whose might all suffering is removed and the force of joy abounds. Behold him in an enchanting palace, resounding with hymns sung by 1,000 goddesses, with tiaras of 100 gods being offered to his lotus feet. And may a rain of many flowers falling on his head, the eyes of which are moist with kindness. Upon seeing Manjughosha in this way, may those in hell cry out loud with joy. Likewise, having seen, due to the roots of my wholesome deeds, the cool and sweet-smelling rain falling from joyful clouds created by the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra and Sarva Nirvana Kishamkabhi, may all beings in hell be truly happy. May all animals be free from the fear of being eaten by one another. May the hungry ghosts be as happy as the men of the northern continent. May they be satisfied by a stream of milk pouring from the hand of the noble Lord Avalokiteshvara, and by bathing in it may they always be cooled. May the blind see forms, may the deaf hear sounds, and just as it was with Maya Devi, may pregnant women give birth without any pain. May the naked find clothing, the hunger find food, may the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find new hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their illnesses, and may every disease in the world never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid. May those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting one another. May all travelers find happiness everywhere they go, and without any effort, may they accomplish whatever they set out to do. May those who sail in ships and boats obtain whatever they wish for, and having safely returned to the shore, may they joyfully reunite with their relatives. May troubled wanderers who have lost their way meet with fellow travelers, and without any fear of thieves and tigers, may their going be easy without any fatigue. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wildernesses, the children, the aged, the unprotected, those stupefied, and the insane, be guarded by beneficial celestials. May beings be free from all states of no leisure, and be endowed with faith, wisdom, and kindness, with food obtained in a proper manner, and excellent conduct. May they be mindful throughout their lives. May all beings be without want for wealth, just like the treasury of space, and without it being the source of dispute or harm. May they always enjoy it as they wish. May those who have little splendor come to be endowed with majesty. And may those whose bodies are worn with toil find magnificent and noble forms. May all lower life forms in the universe take rebirth in higher forms, and may the lowly obtain grandeur, and may the proud be humble. By the merits I have accumulated, may every single being abandon all forms of evil and perpetually engage in virtue. May they never be parted from the awakening mind, and may they always engage in the Bodhisattva's conduct. May they be cared for by the Buddhas and relinquish the actions of devils. May sentient beings having lives inconceivably long when in fortunate realms. May they always live in contentment, unfamiliar even with the word of death. May there abound in all directions gardens of wish-fulfilling trees filled with the sweet sounds of Dharma proclaimed by the Buddhas and their sons. And may the land everywhere be pure, smooth, and devoid of any rocks, level like the palm of the hand, and the nature of lapis lazuli. For all the circles of disciples, may many bodhisattvas dwell in every land, adorning them with their excellent manifestations. May all embodied creatures uninterruptedly hear the sounds of Dharma issuing from the birds and trees, beams of light, and even space itself. May they always meet with Buddhas and their sons, the bodhisattvas. Then may these spiritual masters of the world be worshipped with endless clouds of offerings. May celestial beings bring timely rains so that harvests may be bountiful. May kings act in accordance with Dharma, and the people in the world always prosper. May all medicines be effective and the repeating of mantras successful. May dakinis, cannibals, and the like be endowed with compassionate minds. May no living creature ever suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, or their minds ever be depressed. In all the temples and monasteries, may readings and recitation flourish and remain. May the Sangha always be in harmony, and may their purposes be accomplished. May monks desiring to practice find quiet and solitary places, and through having abandoned all wandering thoughts, may they meditate with flexible minds. May nuns be materially sufficient, abandon quarreling with each other, and be unharmed. Similarly, may all ordained ones never let their morality weaken. Having repented any moral falls, may evil always be eradicated and thereby obtain a happy state of birth. May spiritual conduct not decline even there. May the wise be honored and may they receive alms. May their minds be completely pure and may they be renowned in all directions. May beings not experience the misery of lower realms and may they never know any hardships. With a physical form superior to the gods, may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. May sentient beings again and again make offerings to all the Buddhas, and may they constantly be joyful with the inconceivable bliss of the Buddhas. Just as they have intended, may the Bodhisattvas fulfill the welfare of the world, and may all sentient beings receive whatever the Buddhas intended for them to have. Similarly, may the Pratyeka Buddhas and the Shravakas find happiness. And until I reach the level of the joyous one, through the kindness of Manjughosha, may I be mindful throughout my lives and always obtain ordination. May I live simply and be sustained by simple common food. And in all my lives, may I find the ideal solitude for practicing Dharma. Whenever I wish to see something or even wish to ask the slightest question, may I behold without any hindrance the Lord Manjughosha himself in order to fulfill the needs of beings who reach unto the ends of space. May my way of life be just like that of Manjughosha. For as long as space endures and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. May all the pains of all living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings of which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjughosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Without you had, it's hard to read that one. No possible I can read correctly. Okay, so now we finish the whole thing, Shantideva's teaching. Next week, I'm going to share the Manjushri practice and the teaching. So reason is to see Shantideva, he also posted to Manjushri, right here, last one. I post to Manjushri Kosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue. So Manjushri is the blessing to the Shantideva. So that's why he has this, teaching, like he share for us. So Shantideva, he has completion practice in Manjushri, is become like inseparable with Manjushri. That's why he has ability to share these teachings. We just usually look to more the teaching, Buddha's teaching benefit for others, sentient beings, or it's blessing by Manjushri. So due to Manjushri, or Buddha Dharma is still benefit for others. And that's the reason we're going to practice Manjushri next Saturday, Sunday. And I'm going to share the teaching. Majority, so also your homework is you have to read again and again the Shantideva, this teaching. So we read once is not enough. We have to read many times. So that really help you. But also when I share the beginning, so some these verses, very important section verses. So it helps your daily life, helps you and your view, helps you your conduct and your practice something special ones. So you take separate and the notes and read that one again and again. So it's really helpful for you that way. If you cannot memorize the whole thing, this way of Bodhisattva, but you have some this important verses, and you pick up and then you read again and again. So that's really helpful for you. That same is like other or teachers does. The other teachers also the important sections they memorize, and then they share for others. So some of course some other teachers have whole thing is memorized. This Shantideva text in Tibet mostly. Khenpo has memorized, but no me. Long time ago, I think mostly the Khenpo who teachers has memorized this Shantideva text. Not only this Shantideva text, all this philosophy, root text, everything there has memorized. And I received this teaching from some other teachers. They just everyone has memorized, and then they also have a good lineage. I mean, I received many transmissions, but I received this whole thing is sharing the teaching by Khenpo Jiminpinso. So one winter teaching. He has every year have one winter teaching. So goes 3 months. 1 year he did all this way of Bodhisattva beginning to end, share the teaching. So that's it's good lineage, I think I have. So now you receive already this way of Bodhisattva. So now you up to you. So you can, practice whatever you can. Okay, so thank you, everyone.
Khenpo, a couple things.
Yes.
Are we meeting this evening, first of all, at 7?
Yes, evening, yes.
Okay, we're meeting this evening. Okay, well, because some people can't meet in the evening, we wanted to take this time to have like a virtual kata offering to you. And I just wanted to review that the teaching started September 5th. We had 17 weeks of teachings and a total of 68 separate teachings. So I wanted to share that. And then I also wanted to share a thank you to Marilyn for recording these precious teachings for us so that we now have a library of the way of the Bodhisattva. And I know on our website, we're developing a library and this will be part of it so that people can refer over and over again and study these teachings through listening and contemplating. And now I would like to have Lisa Lewis would like to share a thank you that I believe really expresses the thank you from all of us.
Yes, thank you, Khenpo. I wrote something that I'm sure will express everybody's gratitude. And one thing I did as I wrote down all my favorite verses from every chapter, and then my favorite 10 verses, which I'm not going to read now. I'm just going to pick the one verse that won the prize for me as my favorite verse. And so this gives everybody's gratitude expressed in this, I'm sure, and some things important to me. So I wanted to thank you for the verse-by-verse teachings of the way of the Bodhisattva. It's not possible to give you sufficient thanks in words, but what follows will always be with me. my favorite verses from each chapter, and my 10 most important to me, as well as a few quotes of your commentary. Way back when we were studying chapter 1, I mentioned that when I talked to some of my Dharma friends about one book we would take with us to an island, it is this one. Now that we have come to the last of chapter 10, I have something else to say. When I get to the Bodhi tree, I will have this text with me, as it is the cause for being there. Thank you from the depth of my heart. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you for all your questions, your enthusiasm, your effort, and your joy. My two favorite chapters are 6 and 8. Chapter 6, because I can rely on it to be a source of ending anger and awakening compassion for others. Chapter 8, because it gives the gift of meditation practice very deeply and shows the way to blossom the altruistic intention in every action every day. Some of your commentary that I'm going to read every day these are things that I wrote down that you said, Khenpo, that I'm going to read every day when I read these favorite verses. Dharma means not recognizing others' problems, but your own. Harsh words don't matter so much when you view this body as belonging to others. Practice less self-attachment. Let go and pray for people. No one controls us. It's our emotion. Origination leads to darkness. Cessation leads to the sun. So at first when I wrote this, I wanted to write my 3 favorite verses, and I couldn't do that. So I tried 6, tried 9. I end up with 10. But I had to bring it down to 1. This is my favorite verse. It is supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. So I've always wanted a verse-by-verse study, and I really can't express how grateful I am to everybody, especially to you, Khenpo. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Khenpo, and we'll see everybody who can join at 7 to
Yes.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Continue 7, continue every day.
And thank you,
Yes.
Lisa, for expressing so beautifully all of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And your long presentation, Mary. And thank you all. It was wonderful.
Yes,
guys-
beautiful Lang Mary. Thank you so much, Khenpo.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ati.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, and
Bye.
Khenpo.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.